guys, how do you grow a wider back? Very, very popular question, and one I want to help you with. Now, a couple of things before we start about anatomy, and it's not going to be too complex, but to get a lat in its fully length and range, you need to be up from this position here. To get a lat in its fully shortened range, you need to be back here. That's the lat. I'll turn around. Fully length and range, fully shortened range. If you look on an anatomy chart, the lat comes from here and comes out. So in order to grow a wider back, you need to consider if you're training the lat through the full spectrum. Now, genetics are going to be the predominant factor between you developing a dense, thick back and simply a wider back. But the most important thing is actually whether or not you're training through the full spectrum. Now, add on to that nutrition, which I'll cover at the end, and you have a perfect recipe for growing a bigger back. A lot of the people that are trying to get a wider back are a lot of people that aren't really gaining much weight. But before I get to that, when you train anything that's overhead, such as a lat pull down or a chin up, you're training the lats in their length and range. If you then train any form of a row into here, you're training a lot of the fibers that come in towards the middle of the spine. So we've got fibers of the lat from here that pull down. We've got fibers that then pull into the middle, and then we've got fibers that pull down into the lower part of the lat. That is the latissimus dorsi muscle complex. Now, in order for you to grow anything, you need to consider that full extremity, the full extremity, and the full extremity. The opportunity for you to grow a wider back is actually also going to come from the amount of muscle tissue that you grow at any given time. So if you're 72 kilos, and you've been 72, and you've been training for 3 or 4 years, and you want a wider back, a little bit of advice for you. Get to 76, get to 78. Because ultimately, if you want to grow anything wider, what you're looking for is you want to grow it bigger. And if you want to grow it bigger, you're going to increase the muscle fibers. If you're going to increase the muscle fibers, you're going to increase the density of the tissue around that joint. So something that people say is, can you give me an exercise to do back width? And I'm going to say, can you give me a meal plan that's going to help you put on tissue? Because most cases, people train pull downs. Most people train rows. What people don't do is they don't contract from the extremity. So what you might find people do is they literally pull down through their head and their neck, as opposed to pulling down through their lat. So execution of an exercise is going to be something. So I'm going to say this to you. Hit some fundamentals to grow a bigger back. One, make sure you're using the lat muscles from the extremity, from the stretch ranges first. Make sure you're using the lat muscles when you row instead of using your forearms. Make sure you're using the lat by retracting when you train the lower fibers, as in the dumbbell row video. But then make sure that you're not staying the same. If you're staying the same with load in the gym, you're not going to be stimulating new fibers to grow. So if you're not getting stronger. And if you're staying the same with weight, body weight, then you can't expect the muscle fibers to be growing, because there's no reason, there's no nutrition there to facilitate the recovery process so that you grow more muscle fibers. So yes, there are exercises that train your muscles through the extremity ranges, but you're going to be limited to whether or not you can execute and maintain tension, whether or not you're gaining muscle or you're gaining strength. The 3 fundamentals of actually getting bigger back muscles. Good luck, guys.